All right, forget the massive sailing yachts you've seen on the news, and go ahead and forget those sprawling, city-sized mega yachts owned by the world's billionaires. Because today we're zooming in on a vessel that supposedly shatters the very boundaries of luxury and extreme wealth. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to unpack the mystery of the History Supreme. It's a super yacht that has completely captivated the internet, presenting us with a really fascinating question. Are we looking at a legitimate real-world engineering marvel, or simply the greatest digital myth of our modern era? Let's get into it. $4.8 billion. Yep, with a B. That is the staggering estimated value attached to the History Supreme. It's a figure so astronomically high it just immediately grabs your attention, right? I mean, in the world of extreme luxury, price tags like this are usually reserved for massive private islands or entire corporate acquisitions, definitely not a single watercraft. But to understand why this wild valuation exists, we really have to look past the dollar sign and dig into the sheer audacity of the claims surrounding this specific boat.
Now, when you hear 4.8 billion, your brain naturally pictures a floating city. But here's the kicker, the true anomaly here. The History Supreme is tiny compared to typical mega yachts. Let's contrast it with Jeff Bezos' famous mega yacht, the Koru, which stretches an imposing 125 meters. The History Supreme, it measures in at just 30.48 meters. That's roughly 100 feet. So it's essentially a fraction of the size of the world's most famous yachts, yet it carries a vastly larger price tag. So what on earth could possibly make a 30-meter boat the most expensive yacht in the world?
Section 1, 100 tons of armor, the exterior.
Okay, get this. The claim is that the History Supreme is coated in a staggering 100,000 kilograms of solid gold and platinum. That is literally 100 metric tons of precious metal. The design itself is actually based on the Italian Baia Yacht's Baia 100 model, which is already known for its aggressive sporty lines. But instead of your standard fiberglass or aluminum, imagine those lines literally sparkling in pure gold. We're talking the deck, the dining area, the railings, all forged from gold and platinum. They even claim the base hull, the part of the boat that sits entirely underwater, is wrapped in gold. Oh, and the underwater anchor? Also solid gold. Which honestly makes it less of a practical maritime tool and more of a sunken treasure just waiting to happen.
Section 2, prehistoric luxury, the interior. Well, if you thought the outside was excessive, let's take a look at the interior. The master suite supposedly features a feature wall where authentic Tyrannosaurus rex bone and real meteorite stones are literally fused together into a solid surface. Think about that. Millions of years of prehistoric history and literal debris from outer space right there in the bedroom. And over in the living room, there's a panoramic aquarium crafted from 68 kilograms of pure 24-karat gold. Oh, and sitting at the bar is a special liquor bottle showcasing an incredibly rare 18.5-carat diamond. It is just an absurdist list that defies every conventional rule of interior design. But the extravagance doesn't stop at dinosaur bones and diamond-studded bottles. The whole vibe of the interior is defined by handcrafted platinum perfection. The claim states that every single piece of furniture or every little accessory in that master suite is meticulously forged from pure platinum. The sheer labor and cost to handcraft bedroom furniture out of one of the rarest metals on Earth is, well, it's almost incalculable. And all of this was supposedly commissioned by one specific buyer, the Malaysian billionaire businessman Robert Kuok. So let's take a step back. We have a 30-meter vessel completely wrapped in 100 tons of gold and platinum, filled with meteorites, T-Rex bones, and solid platinum furniture. Which brings us to the absolute most critical question of this entire explainer. Can a solid gold boat actually float? It's time to stop acting like awestruck tourists and put on our skeptical scientific investigator hats. Section 3, the Great Engineering Contradiction. When we apply the uncompromising laws of physics here, a pretty massive, undeniable flaw emerges. Let's break down the physical reality. We have a hull length of 30.48 meters. We have a claimed cruising speed of roughly 14 knots, although, side note, the actual motor details have always been completely mysteriously absent from the claims. And then we have the payload, 100,000 kilograms of ultra-dense metal. To put that into perspective, gold is literally one of the densest, heaviest metals on the periodic table. Trying to stack 100 tons of it onto a relatively tiny, sporty Italian yacht chassis, it sets up a totally impossible scenario. It really all just boils down to basic buoyancy.
Maritime experts universally agree that displacing enough water to keep a 30-meter hull afloat while carrying 100 tons of ultra-dense gold is physically impossible. If you actually try to build the History Supreme exactly as described, it wouldn't be cruising anywhere at 14 knots. It would act more like a solid gold submarine and instantly sink like a stone to the bottom of the ocean. Physics just completely crashes the party here.
Which leads us to the actual reality of the situation. The History Supreme is widely considered by experts to be the ultimate digital hoax. Yep, it was never physically built. Instead, it is a viral masterpiece of digital design and marketing, created by designer Stuart Hughes. It is a brilliantly executed 3D illusion, a concept that took the internet by storm, because, let's be honest, it played so perfectly into our collective fascination with the limitless spending habits of the ultra-wealthy. We all kind of fell for it, at least for a minute. But honestly, wasn't it a great story? The really fascinating thing is that this revelation didn't kill the myth. The sheer audacity of the hoax has actually only increased its popularity over time.
And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating takeaway. The History Supreme might not be a physical ship you can actually touch, but it definitely succeeded in becoming the most talked about vessel on the planet. It proves that sometimes a wildly compelling story is just as valuable as 100 tons of gold. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Even knowing the hard physics, a small part of the internet still wonders, is there a chance it's secretly sailing the oceans somewhere, or is it destined to remain just a billionaire's digital dream? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll catch you next time.